What is good, YouTubeites? Welcome to Lords of the Long Box, episode 148. Happy new comic book day to you. Sorry we don't have any fancy introduction since we're going back to our old ways of using beautiful Wirecast. But I want to welcome everybody aboard, and we're going to bring back my man is making a return, Dark Side Jedi. But say what's up to our returning champion, Manimal. Say what's up.
Yo, what's going on? Glad to be here. Glad to have Ryan back as well.
And also, I got my man Nemesis Prime.
What's up, guys? I haven't slept in a week. Disney Plus keeping me up late at night.
Jesus, a whole week. And returning from the disabled list,
I'm back.
From the chronic back issue bins, my man Darkside Jedi.
I escaped from the Phantom Zone, ladies and gentlemen. I am back. And it's good to be back. I'm a little nervous. I feel like I'm, if you haven't ridden a bike in a long time and you get that little nervousness, well, it's good to be back, everybody.
Ryan's back, honing it down for the producer credits. We're no longer using StreamYard, so sorry, boys and girls, no Cannonball until we can figure out how Ryan does this. So first of all, let's talk about our sponsors, man. The show is sponsored by KRScomics.com. Go to KRScomics.com, use the discount code of LOTLB to get 10% off any KRS Comics exclusives, including the Joker Villain of the Year Harley Quinn variant that's sold out.
Dope.
Same day. I even warned everybody. I said, get them. I think there was a slight glitch because my man Manny said, hey, man, they're sold out. And I went in there and it still works. So you're still able to get it. If you don't get it there, you can go to Black Flag Comics. They had a couple copies left of the same variant, but you can't use the discount code of LOTLB. And if you missed out altogether, I'm pretty sure you may be able to get a set when we hit 3,000 subs. That's right, boys and girls. I'm going to give away a set when we hit 3,000 subs. That gorgeous Warren Liu and Natalie Sanders variants.
Or you can buy them on eBay for $3 million.
Yeah.
I'm sure someone will be giving you a horrible deal on eBay.
They doubled the price like the same day, man. But they were both gorgeous, I think. Also, the show is sponsored you by thegeekyswagshop.com. Go to thegeekyswagshop.com. Use the discount code of LOTLB to get 15% anything in the geekyswagshop.com, including the new hoodies that we have up just in time for wintertime. The zipper up is a little bit more because it's a softer hoodie, and then there's the regular pullover, which is a little bit less. I think $5 less. About $45-$50, and you can use the discount code of LOTLB to knock off some of that, but just in time for the winter. I currently am the only owner of a Lords of the Long Box hoodie, and I do
it's sharp.
believe
I've seen it in person.
Zach has actually put it on, and he can attest on how soft it was.
I have. It was very soft. It was creepy wearing your hoodie, but it was soft.
He tried to walk away with it. I was like, yo, man, hey, man, come back with that. And so that's it, everybody. Oh, also to show us a new sponsor, our friends at KRS Comics. Go to Rocket Comics. Go to Rocket Comics, tell them Lords of Long Box sent you and get 20% off your first pressing order. No minimum number, but it's only on one order. You can't get like one order, then another order, the next day another one. So put all your books together at once, 10, 20, 30, whatever, and you get 20% off pressing. And right around the season is going to be, he can do facilitating and signature witnesses too, so you can save yourself some money on pressing.
I've used him many times, and I'll tell you what, he is worth every penny, guaranteed.
But he's a one-man shop, so he does get busy, so hit him up sooner than later. So, let's get right to it, boys and girls. Drop the cannonball, Ryan.
Ladies and gentlemen,
that's one thing we still got to work on, man.
Yeah, I'll figure that out.
That's the one thing that was cool about the StreamYard. Man. We can do those little clips. And actually, to be honest with you, with this first story, we probably should have led with the Star Wars Dark Side Jedi theme. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Bust out the graphic, Ryan.
There we go.
Yo, man, so this is coming from our man, Mikey Sutton. He's got some exclusives for us, man. So the part of the Mikey Sutton report is everybody's been super hyped with The Mandalorian. I don't know if you've been watching it or not. You may have heard there's a little thing called Disney Plus that's been streaming lately. Just a few things are on it. One of them is being The Mandalorian. Well, this is Mandalorian adjacent. Sabine Wren will make her live action debut on Disney Plus. Mikey tried getting an answer as to which show, but nobody has given him an answer other than it'll happen by 2021 at the latest. That is if you've been watching Rebels, and I think Justin and I can probably be the only ones to speak on it, Sabine Wren is a badass Mandalorian. And I will tell you how she actually pulls into Rogue One. I think on this show, we talked about it a lot, about the little Easter eggs that were in Rogue One when they were going through the data files. One of the data files, I think it was called Dark Saber or Black Saber, right? And
Dark
Justin,
Saber. Yep.
yeah. And in the Rebels series, the leader of the Mandalorians wields a black saber, which is pretty cool. Are you excited about Sabine Wren, Justin? I think you and I are the only ones that have seen Rebels.
Yeah, I mean, she's an awesome character. She was, former Imperial of the Mandalorians. She kind of was a deserter. She's very artistic, so she's that punk. So if you're into like that rebellious era, she's really cool.
She kind of custom makes the Mandalorian helmets, right?
Yeah. So her whole outfit is all, graffitied up. What's really cool about her also is that she does really a rebellion logo. She actually creates the, I guess you want to say, concept art of what will become the logo for the Republic later on. And she's a great character in Rebels. She eventually, through the seasons, you eventually get back to the Mandalorian homeworld, and you have House Vizsla, which is awesome if you guys have seen Clone Wars, because then it ties right back into when she does show up in Rebels as well.
So dumb question. On the Mandalorian first episode, you said that she makes armor. Could that have been her in the cave or in that hut where she was making?
We established the timeline of Rebels is in between Solo and Rogue One. Mandalorian takes place 5 years after Return of the Jedi. So,
kind of old.
So my bad.
Probably, right?
But
yeah, I mean,
the one with the cool helmet.
She's in her teens. So
yeah,
it's possible she, by that it's like she'll be like in her 40s, late 40s, early 50s.
The armor maker. You know who I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. Oh, I know. Yeah.
Because Solo was like what, early 20s when he was in Solo. So I mean, she'd be roughly about Han's age probably when into Return of the Jedi.
And let's be honest, we don't know how Mandalorians age, so who knows how they are. But I don't want to give away too much about the Disney Plus series, but this takes place. There was a big civil war on Mandalore, and if you watch Rebels, she was right in the middle of it when the Mandalorian homeworld was kind of still intact, but there were still factions. So it's really interesting. All Rebels is all canon, because if you remember in the Star Wars films that came out, they had the little Easter egg of was the ship called Ghost?
Yes.
Yeah, Ghost. So Dan the Man says, give me Ahsoka. She's coming. Dude, everything is coming. I'm glad Dave Filoni is part of this, because Dave Filoni is arguably our generation's George Lucas as far as Star Wars. Everything he does, I absolutely love. So before we go on to the next, let me just shout out everybody in the live chat before it gets too crowded. There's 87 of y'all in here, but shout out to Chad Crow, Al Picknell, who are Sith Lordly, always holding it down in the tailgate, Matt Forger, Audie Rousel, Pops Foster, always hanging it down in there. Shout out to Pops Foster, Jeff Hernandez, the list goes on and on. All the moderators, JLS Comics, King of Golden State, Lenny Cerna, Jay Salsa is always friend of the channels in there. Living Room Con, interesting. Just bought a Dazzler #1, CGC 9.8. So happy. Good for you, man. Jacob Yakubik, I think I nailed it that time. Thomas Thompson, and the list just goes on and on. Literally a cast of millions. Shout out to Image Comics, Gabriel Fonseca, Vernon Johnson, old friend, Edwin Rogue, Thunderhouse Design. Good Lord. I have to stop because it keeps on going up. There's 93 people watching now. I saw that it was only 80 people in there. So I could probably get away with it right now.
Well, it's the return of Darkseid, bad. So of course they didn't want to miss this episode, right?
And in keeping in the return of Darkseid, Jedi, we have a couple of. This first story is rather big. The second DC story is fucking gigantic, and I never thought I'd said, "Oh shit, Copa, ban me." Sorry, but anyway, throw up the graphic, Ryan. Let's talk about some HBO Max goodness on some stuff that we kind of scooped already.
Ooh,
look at that. We're hearing, boys and girls, that Star Sapphire and Guy Gardner are among the characters being developed for Greg Berlanti's Green Lantern TV series. Can we just call it what it is now? The Green Lantern Corps?
Yeah. I mean, it's got to be, right?
Because we spent Guy Gardner's Star Sapphire, of course. What was the other guy? Your 9/8.
Rayner.
Kyle Rayner.
See, I set you up, man. You got to knock that out. Yeah, Kyle Rayner. So this is getting big, man. And this is HBO Max money, so they can do this proper. Can you imagine a Green Lantern Corps on a CW budget with all the special effects that would be? It would just be awful. But
you're right.
That HBO Max money, I think they could do it, man. Well, who are you more excited to see? I'm more curious about Star Sapphire because I rarely ever see her. I know all about Guy Gardner, but what about you guys? What say you there, Zach?
I loved. I want to see if you guys agree with me. I loved the Green Lantern animated, and I loved her in that when she showed up. That was a great little series. It was like 2 or 3 seasons. But this is obviously this is Carol Fenris, right? Or Ferris. We're talking about.
Yep.
Yeah, because there's a Golden Age Star Sapphire too, right?
The villain. But no, I think it's cool. I would like to see this HBO Max be like outside of Oa. They never go to Earth. That's a good explanation why maybe you don't ever see Hal Jordan because he's monitoring Earth, and it's just space. All space, no Earth would be great.
Well, as Mikey Sutton's told me in the past, Hal Jordan is being held out for the movies. Yeah, so really, Berlanti has this other playground he's doing. And if we haven't mentioned Hal Jordan or Jon Stewart. So I think they're holding those guys out for the big screen because a lot of, we talked about this on our show like a year ago, that a lot of people relate with Jon Stewart as the Green Lantern from the Justice League cartoons.
That was on the
cartoon. Yeah. And I never dawned on me that people just like a lot of people grew up learning about the X-Men on the animated series, which is now on Disney Plus, which is still kind of cool, but the animation is pretty shaky from back then.
And what'd you say, an Australian Wolverine?
Oh no, that's SpiderMan is Amazing Friends. If you guys haven't seen the X-Men episode, go see my first introduction to Wolverine. I thought he was Australian. He had an accent the first time he was. But that's a great episode. There's also an episode of Spider-Man Amazing Friends that has Doctor Strange in it.
Oh, that's cool.
Man, such a nostalgic kick, man. We can do a whole episode. Check out 3 Men in the Basement. Justin did a preview, I think day 1. Was it day 1 that you did the
day 1
Disney
launch
Plus preview?
Yeah. I went through the entire portal, just showing off all the different channels, all the different shows. It was really good.
Did you tell everybody they could watch Kazam?
Oh, God. No, I didn't even know. I didn't even go through. I didn't go through all those movies. Let me tell you, there's some great movies on there. I mean,
bro,
me and Manimal know Willow. We want to watch Willow,
bro.
right?
Oh, yeah, Willow. That's great, too. Yes. Very
already watched it.
Tuatha, bad not
Kazam with Shaquille O'Neal is on Disney Plus, bro.
There's so much gold on this thing. It was just like, you look back and you watch these movies, though, and I'm like, God, how did I like this? This is horrible now.
Do they hold up?
No.
Come on, Val Kilmer in that movie is awesome.
He is great. You know what was funny was I had forgot that that's a Lucasfilms, and it's so... He's such a Han Solo, Indiana Jones character. Like, it's so
Val Kilmer,
George Lucas. So it was cool.
I mean, single-handedly get what's his name? The little guy. What's his name? Garrett. What's his name? The guy that plays.
Yeah, damn it.
Oh God,
have you ever seen that HBO show where he stars in it? It is hilarious, man. It's basically a story about his own life, but kind of like but it's scripted and it's. Yeah, I don't want to say the M word, but you guys know the little guy from that played the Ewok, man. Yeah, George Lucas is the boy, man.
Warwick Davis. Thanks,
Warwick Davis.
Yeah.
Warwick Davis.
Thank you, Red Ranger.
I think is a football player, isn't he? David Warwick. I'm getting all kinds of different names. Warwick Dunn, David Warwick. I think
Warwick
Dion.
I'm just gonna call him Wicket, you guys.
Yeah.
Warwick Davis. If you ever see it, there was a scripted series for HBO where he plays a struggling version of himself. It's absolutely hilarious, man. Everybody just calls him Willow, and he kind of lives off it. But yeah, Val Kilmer was the man back then. If you think about it, that was right at the height of his action series. I mean, after that, he would think you'd do Batman, but he was a young dude.
No, didn't he do the Saint in between that and Batman?
Yes, the Saint.
Yeah, the Saint. He had a bunch of great stuff, man, and then he got a little overweight. Don't forget Tombstone too.
Oh, and Heat. He did Heat as well.
Tombstone. Yeah, he was. I'll be your Huckleberry.
That was a great movie.
But that was funny. Hollywood has a tendency to do 2 movies at the same time, like Tombstone, the asteroid movie, the tornado movie. Right? They always come out at the same time. And remember, at the same time, there was a Wyatt Earp movie.
Yes, there was.
What's his name? Dennis Quaid. Yeah, Quaid. Kevin Costner played Wyatt Earp, and Dennis Quaid played Wyatt Earp, and they both killed it. I mean, they both killed it, absolutely. But that Wyatt Earp movie is fucking long.
It's long, but it's more accurate.
I like Tombstone better than Wyatt Earp, to be honest.
Tombstone's not accurate at all.
Oh, yeah, but Tombstone is just
great.
So good.
It's fucking That's what missing from Hollywood is good fucking westerns, right?
I was watching Quick and the Dead the other day. That's a great.
Is that Sharon Stone?
Yes, and Leo, young Leo.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
he's a baby in that.
Oh my god, yeah.
Let me tell you, my favorite modern western is Unforgiven. That's hands down my favorite modern western.
My favorite western is there was this film and it starred Peter Fonda, and an Italian actor who he was famous from spaghetti westerns, and he called it in a movie called They Call Me Nobody. But they dubbed his voice in this film because he was Terrence Stamp, I believe is his name. I got to Google it. It's one of the best westerns ever. With you guys remember Peter?
Best western.
Yeah.
My favorite modern western currently right now is The Mandalorian.
Yes. I only complained about The Mandalorian is it's too short. I mean, it's just like I'm like pausing it to see how much time I have left. Because
have you guys noticed on The Mandalorian episode 1 and episode 2? Have you noticed the little nods to different movies? So in episode 1, during the shootout, you can hear one of the Marauders say "Hakuna Matata."
I gotta go back.
And then on episode 2, when the Mandalorian was on the Jawa transport, there was that scene where he almost hit the wall. That was harkening back to Indiana Jones when he was on the Nazi tank.
Oh, that's true. It's cool.
Very cool.
Ryan had a lot of free time on his hands.
Hey, man, what are we going to do? I'm sitting on my back.
Henry Fonda. I'm going to tell you right now, man. You guys need to go and find this Western. It's with Henry Fonda and this Italian actor, and they changed his name to Terrence Hill. The name of the movie is called My Name is Nobody. It's a Western from 1973. It's right at the height of spaghetti Western. So they took an actor named Terrence Hill, who has his name is Italian, and they dub his voiceover.
Interesting.
So here's a fun fact. If you guys ever watch the original Road Warrior, what's his name? Braveheart.
Mel Gibson.
Mel Gibson's voice is dubbed in the original Road Warrior.
Is it really?
Because they didn't want people in the States to hear an Australian accent.
Oh, wow.
So, and fast forward now, Mel Gibson has absolutely no accent whatsoever. Nobody knows he's Australian, but that's Sergio Leone. Thank you very much. King of the spaghetti westerns himself. One of my favorite cowboy films or westerns ever is My Name is Nobody. With the music also is by Inicio Morricone. Oh, that almost sounds dirty in Spanish, but he's the same composer that did the music to the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. So there's if you see what I'm saying, They Call Me Nobody is very spaghetti western, but stars Henry Fonda at the height of the tail end of how big he was in Hollywood in 1973. Sorry, I'm just aging myself, but back then, kids, we had like one TV and one channel that showed old movies, and I believe they're called UHF channels when they were in like the 30s and 40s.
Channel 50.
Let's get to this next story because I can't believe I'm uttering these words.
Oh, well, do you want to do prices for these books?
Oh, yeah. He's got to have something on this show. He's got to pull his weight, man. Let's go ahead and throw the screen up there, and we'll let Justin take over while I take care of this.
Yeah. So this book is actually really interesting. I mean, no one's really buying the book, but the prices are decent. 9.2 sold for $1,320 in March. More recently, a 7.5 sold for $395 last month. But you know what? A big sale was back in 2016. A 9.6 went for $8,000.
Wow. I had this book at one point.
Yeah.
So Justin, is this Carol Ferris or is this the Silver Age?
No, this is Carol Ferris. This is his love interest who, she
becomes Star Sapphire, right?
Yeah, where she becomes And then of course we have the Guy Gardner. So, Green Lantern 59, first appearance. This one 9.4. This one's actually a little bit easier to find in higher grades because it's a little bit higher number, but 9.4 sold for $14.96 in June. We're looking at an 8.5 for $429 in August. But the most recent sale was a 6.5 for $193, and that was just last month. So if you're looking for a good mid-grade, 6.5 to 7.5s are good grades.
Nah, don't be a cheap bastard. I think that 8.5. For $429 for Silver Age first appearance, dude, I think that's
not
a
bad.
Deal.
I want to also add, I think 2 spec books to look out for.
What is that noise?
Including Guy Gardner. He was a Red Lantern, and his first appearance as a Red Lantern was, I believe, Green Lantern Volume 2. It was the Blackest Night run. Number 17 is his first appearance as a Red Lantern. Also, I think Justin had mentioned it, that Green Lantern number 25 is the first appearance of all the spectrums of lanterns, right?
Yeah, I mean, Green Lantern's 25 from Jeff Johns' run is probably the pinnacle of all of Green Lantern storylines, but that one is really what I would expect on, because there's a lot of villains that start. You have Atrocitus, you have Larfleeze,
for sure,
who becomes the Red Lanterns, who becomes the Orange Lanterns, and if this show does hit off well, the other spectrums will be coming. So even if you just get first appearance of the Indigo Lanterns, first appearance of the red, the orange, the blue, it don't matter. They're showing, yeah.
I mean, even the animated show, that was the meat of the animated show too. Was they did all the spectrum. They didn't even hesitate. They just jumped right into it. That was cool.
Well, thank God it's Greg Berlanti, because Greg Berlanti always pays homage to the comic books, as you could tell with the Arrowverse stuff. And folks, I know you guys really missed me and Manimal doing our Arrowverse recap, but life happens, and we figured, there's not much happening right now, so we're gonna bring back the Arrowverse recap right when Crisis starts on December 10th. So it's beating up there. I mean, Arrow's been pretty good just standalone, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I've been really digging it. So we're gonna wait for it to come back. It allows the rest of the guys to catch up on their 4 seasons of whatever. But at this point, I think it's safe to say we don't even need to watch Batgirl and Supergirl until Crisis starts, because it seems to be pretty self-contained, right?
Right. Yeah.
All right. So now that we got those books that you should go out and get, that everybody should already know about. I mean, I have a Star Sapphire, believe it or not. Mr.
I had one. I'm so upset that I sold it. I had one, and it was a nice copy.
Yeah, that guy. I don't even see that Guy Gardner to be around that. To be honest with you, I don't see many people just showing it off on First Appearance Friday.
Actually, I saw one last week on Instagram. Someone was selling it. Yeah, someone was selling it, and I should have bought it. I should have done a lot of things. Damn it.
I will tell you, I was looking at 2. Greg Reese's, Reese's Rare Comics. They have 2 on their website, maybe 3 on their website. I think one's a 7.5, one's an 8.5, and then maybe a 6.5. They're really cheap. They're right around what the prices that I just said. So if you guys are looking for that book, I recommend heading up Reese's Rare Comics for those books.
Shout out to my man Big Easy in the house, home of the NY Warriors. They just had their auction last night. Always killing it on their auction. I even popped up on one week sometimes.
I won a book last night.
Tuesdays are hard for me, man. But luckily, I guess it's harder for them because I'm on the West Coast. It ends like 7, 8 p.m. But shout out to Big Easy and the rest of the NY Warriors. This, I'd never thought I'd utter from my mouth. But there was some stuff that happened over the weekend, and it happened for a reason. Even though there's been denials, throw up the graphic, Ryan.
I am so excited.
I
can't tell you how excited I am.
I never thought this day could happen. # release the Snyder Cut may have actually worked. But what a caveat. Ooh, I got to say that drink if you ever thought we say the use caveat again. This is coming from my man, Mikey Sutton. We were talking about this over the weekend because it was kind of funny because Gal Gadot, Ben Affleck, and the dude that plays Cyborg all released on social media, released the Snyder Cut because it was the anniversary or something. But there seemed to be a target marketing reason they all did it at the same time. My man, Mikey Sutton, dig deep into his sources of long boxes and said, despite continuous denials from Warner Brothers, there are plans to release the Snyder Cut. Not theatrically, though. That's the caveat. It's going to be an HBO Max. I never thought I'd ever see it released on the big screen or DVD, simply because they already charge people for that extended DVD, right?
Well, and also, don't they have to finish some graphics? And it's probably cheaper to do TV graphics than it is to do big screen graphics, right?
It's already there. So I'll finish this off. So, however, there are issues preventing them from announcing when to expect it. Mainly, the Snyder Cut is unfinished. There is incomplete FX for one thing. Getting past the Snyder was booted from the Justice League before specific scenes could be and now never be shot. What left needs to be worked on is to be presented to what's left needs to be worked on to be presented to the general public. WB will not confirm anything prematurely when it's ready. So will be all the marketing, as this will help push HBO Max to potential subscribers in terms of social media buzz. All right. What is that noise? Did you guys hear that?
Yeah, it's my dryer. I'm sorry.
Oh. So what pushed Disney Plus? Disney Plus had to launch with something. Oh, shout out to my man Big Easy for the $5 super chat. He's going live. at about 10:15 Eastern with a toy and comic haul. Huge shout out to Tebow, Otto, Nemesis Prime, Darkside Jedi, and I'll just throw in Milton the Man on there since he forgot.
Oh, thank you.
How dare you, Biggie?
It's all good.
Thanks for the $5 super chat. Check out Big Easy tonight at 10:15 Eastern. That's probably 45 minutes from now. So if you think about Disney Plus's launch, they had to have that big ticket item to really sell it. What was it? It was the Mandalorian, right? Think about HBO Max coming. What could really help them launch it and get tons and tons of subscribers? There are a ton of people that are still believing in the Snyder Cut, that it exists. Congrats to you. I don't know if you guys help push it along, but hey, man, those people have been touting the release of the Snyder Cut for a long time.
If a studio will redo an entire CGI of Sonic because people outcried, maybe we can get the outcry. But people better buy it if it does exist.
So it's like this though. Be careful what you wish for, because if all this time they finally come out and people still pan it, there's no
that's what I'm saying is like, does everyone expect it to be like a completely different movie?
No, it's not going to be, but I don't know. There's been a lot of photos and things that
there's a lot of I bet the key is it enough to splice together without filming anything additional? I think Mikey told me that it's going to cost $10 million to do it. And now, obviously, that falls to AT&T, Time Warner, whomever, if they want to put that investment into finishing something that lost them money to begin with, right? If you think about it, the Snyder Cut, right?
Lost me money too. My BB-8 28 took a dive, man. Shit.
If you think about how much it cost to make, and then it end up like 700-800 million worldwide, and just the marketing, if you the giant amount of salaries it took, and additional 10 million. And remember how kind of AT&T, Time Warner suits are not in touch with comic book movies, comic books. What happened with the Joker really got them to think differently about how they're going to plot out their movies, and they're doing, and that's going to lead to my next little story here that, I'm going to sprout on you guys that you guys don't even know about, because I got this last minute from a man, Mikey Sutton. This leads right into the Joker is getting a sequel. Well, it's not only getting a sequel. Warner Brothers wants a trilogy of Joker films. Now, where Todd Phillips left off, I don't know. The last time Todd Phillips did this, it bit him in the ass. The Hangover is such a huge success. The studios wanted part 2 and 3, and those films sucked. They were awful. The Matrix, never planned trilogy. Studios got greedy. They said, give me parts 2 and part 3. And I'm still trying to understand what the architect told me in the Matrix when he explained that shit in like 10 minutes. But they want a Joker 2 and 3. And from everything that Todd Phillips said when a movie first released, he says, I don't really see a sequel coming, but whatever. Right. Well, $1 billion pretty much guarantees you a sequel. You have to do it, right? The studios see dollar signs in there. I mean, let me ask, I'll ask the DC guys this, since it's all the three of you guys, actually. Otto, my Marvel guy's not here. If they do a sequel, what can they do? And mind you, what I'm hearing from Mikey Sutton is this is going to be a Nolan-type standalone trilogy of Joker films, similar to Batman, meaning whatever Joker's world he's in is going to be contained and not have much interaction with the rest of the DC proper universe.
It ended with him in the hospital, right? I think they could do an Arkham Asylum kind of thing where he's in Arkham, maybe he gets out, I don't know, something along those lines where it's more of a he's in a hospital but in Arkham.
I wasn't the big sell or the big reason people like touted it so much was it didn't feel like a comic book movie. If you're planning a trilogy, at some point you're going to have to bring in Batman. You cannot do 2 more movies.
Problem is in that
walk around with the shirt off.
The problem is in that universe, Batman's 12 years old.
Right, you'll have the time jump.
Right, so I don't see that happening, but I see a villain. You could introduce, because they also said they want to do more origin villain stories. So if you put Joker in Arkham, you can introduce Scarecrow, you can introduce Two-Face, you can introduce all these villains, and then do one-shots of those movies.
So why I think there's no Todd Phillips never planned on anything, a sequel or anything like that. First of all, it kind of defeats the whole thing about what Martin Scorsese and him were saying about, our films are were auteurs of this art form, and regular comic book movies. When having a trilogy of films kind of spits and it kind of is the exact opposite of what you've been saying, how you want to keep your little artistic film. So, but with studios execs get involved, dollar signs, and they see potential gold mine. But it kind of leads to what we also talked about a couple of months ago, or over a month ago, when Mikey's son also told us that the WB is already looking to making a Lex Luthor solo film.
That's the way to go. Move on to a new character, let it stand alone, and do something else.
Do you remember when Todd Phillips, the director of the Joker, went on his tour afterward, and he started making everybody even more confused because he was like, well, the ending is what you make of it. Whatever you want. That tells me that Todd Phillips has no plan for a second and third film, and he's going to have to cobble it together. I'd rather it have been standalone. I'll take it for what it is, Joker. And then now he's saying, because I remember one of the first things I asked him was, how could this Joker fight Batman physically or even mentally? Because he's not that smart either, right? He's just kind of, and then Todd Phillips said he could have been the inspiration for the real.
That was like they did in Gotham. They did the same thing. I mean,
which kind of makes
was weird.
But it almost tells you that I have no plans for a second or third film. I'm gonna leave it as is. It's open to interpretation, however you want it. It's not the Sixth Sense. I see dead people, and I've been wearing the same clothes over and over again. But
it's Warner Brothers once again jumping a little too early on the DC stuff. Like, they saw some success finally. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not a hater of most of their movies, but they finally found some success, and now they're trying to capitalize. And I think the lesson that should be learned is take your time. So
a good sequel could be like introducing Jim Gordon, because he would be around that same age, because he's going to be younger, and then by the time Bruce gets older, then Gordon will be older.
Yeah, but
it'd be like a heist movie, really. I mean, I could see like a heist.
It kind of erases everything that Gotham has done for 5 seasons, because that's the Batman prequel, right? But DC said, Warner Brothers said from the get-go that they're not tying in their TV with their movies. Yeah. So like Lon Espinosa brings up a point about Birds of Prey, which is another thing that's coming out that, and so remember we talked about it, literally like the comics is coming up with 3 Jokers. The movies could have 3 Jokers. So you got this one, you got one that's in, let's say, the Batman world of the Matt Reeves films, and then you got one that could potentially be in the Suicide Squad world of films, right? What was his name?
Jared Leto.
Jared Leto, the gangster tattoo version of Joker. Which, aesthetically, I thought he looked kind of cool.
I did too. I thought it was a cool take. I felt like you had to do something different after following on the heels of Heath Ledger. And don't get me wrong, not to take away from Joaquin Phoenix's performance, it was amazing, but he had an easier job of being the Joker than Jared Leto did. And I don't think people are giving him credit for that, because you're coming off of the greatest Joker of all time, in my opinion, in most people's opinion, Heath Ledger.
Right.
And then you got to do something different. So you were able to reset when Joaquin came on.
Yeah, but even like both those versions of Joker seemed like a credible threat to Gotham and/or Batman. Right. Like this version, you're like, I don't.
Well, no, I mean, as is, this version would get his ass handed to him by Batman.
Right.
So what's interesting was there was
child Bruce Wayne too.
Right.
Probably.
I mean, he got his ass handed to him by some kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There was 2 huge media outlets that kind of got into a pissing contest today, and the ironic or the funny thing about it is Grace Randolph was making fun of both of them, who out of her of all people, but it was Deadline and the Hollywood Reporter. One reported that there was a Joker sequel coming, and the other one said no, it's not. But I did find out. Micah Sutton reached out to his sources, says they are planning a sequel, and they actually want to do a trilogy of them. So if you like Joker and more of it, then you may be getting it. So we got one more big story, and this one is gigantic. But right after I dropped this, what I like to call Debunk the Funk, there was a website and then a YouTube channel ran a story about Spider-Man 3 taking place in prison. Yeah. So Peter Parker was going to be in Rikers, and he was going to be fighting all the villains that he put away in jail.
Like a Punisher storyline. That's awesome.
God.
Actually, it's the exact story that they were going to do like 10 years ago. Remember, there was a Green Arrow movie.
Arrow Max.
Supermax. Yeah. It was called Supermax.
Supermax.
So somebody leaked the Supermax story and just put Peter Parker's name in it. I'm here to debunk that story to tell you that it's totally false. Spider-Man 3 would not be Spider-Man from Rikers Island. So,
first off, he'd be in juvie. He wouldn't be in
exactly. He's not even old enough to be in prison yet. So that's why that story doesn't even make sense.
Spider-Man in juvenile detention.
And it said he was doing life in prison, which doesn't. I mean, maybe why
the death of Mysterio.
I didn't want to. I just wanted to debunk that in case anybody asks. It's people ask me stuff all the time, so just to head you off at the pass, it's not true. There was a website that I can't even. I saw the article and I just laughed at it, like how in depth they got into this whole Peter Parker and Rikers Island. But it's like he's going to be in juvenile hall for at least 2 years when he turns 18, because right now he's like 16 years old.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
But let me tell you what is happening. Ryan, throw up the graphic. Oh, look at that.
Cute.
He's reusing old graphics. How cute.
Sometimes you got to be thrifty.
All right. Hearing from Mikey Sorton's sources at Disney, some of the same ones who confirmed his Spidey scoops in the past, that Disney and Sony will collaborate again for Spider-Man 4 in 2023 with Peter Parker in college. Whether that's July 2023 release date remains to be seen, but it's highly possible. It's looking like a college trilogy with Peter Parker meeting his new college roommate, Harry Osborn. About time we get to meet Harry Osborn. The movie will also feature Harry's father, Norman Osborn. Now, as previously reported, Norman Osborn will not be the big baddie of the MCU as the film rights are still with Sony, but he will be the central foe in the Spider-Man movies produced by Marvel Studios for Sony. Here's the big one. Norman is putting together the Sinister Six, and the plan is to have them all form in Spider-Man 6. Wow. Seems like perfect synergy in marketing, right? The lineup will apparently include the Vulture, Mysterio, apparently he's not dead like people think, the Shocker, Kraven the Hunter, the Chameleon, and the Green Goblin. If you remember, this channel about 45 days ago talked about Chameleon and Kraven both being in Spider-Man 3. Kraven's Last Hunt's been talked about. Regarding Disney's desire to purchase the Spider-Man IP rights from Sony, scooped a few months ago, there's still no update yet. Both companies will continue to proceed as normal until anything major like that happens. No company can assume a sale. They must continue to function until the ink is dry, which is how Disney ended up with Dark Phoenix and New Mutants leftovers after they had already purchased Fox. Disney still desires those rights and are willing to buy them. Sony's viewpoint is currently unknown. So it's basically business as usual until somebody makes a move. And if you remember, Mikey reported that Disney was buying Fox like 2015, but we still got a Dark Phoenix movie.
Right.
And apparently a New Mutants film. There's been a release date on it. So, they got all this footage
still coming
together,
out, right?
Still coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe on next week's show we could talk about it and speculate on what the release dates are. But they recently released all the dates for 2023. But there's dates, but there's no titles for them yet. So 4 movies a year, boys, is what we're looking at for Marvel. So that's including the Disney Plus stuff.
Tim, where does this fall with all the talk in terms of Spidey and Venom crossovers?
Venom is still its own thing.
Okay.
So Venom 3, like we talked about, is going to be the Maximum Carnage storyline or Absolute Carnage, one of the two. Maximum Carnage, where Spidey's finally going to be in a Venom film to help Venom fight Carnage. Venom 2, introduction to Carnage. Venom 3, the introduction of Spidey to help Venom fight Carnage. And then after that, hopefully they can get them all in Secret Wars.
You know what's funny is that Michael Keaton will be the actual age of the comic book Vulture by the time part 6 comes out.
Well, yeah, I think Zach was in our private chat. He's like, dude, Michael Keaton's gonna be old. Yep. I was like, dude, the Vulture's not old. He'll have the gray hair to kind of match the Vulture. I've always cracked up at the comic book version of the Vulture, because it's like, man, that dude has got a reverse mortgage and he's just bored. That's why he probably committed crime, dude. He was tired of being at home. He's like, I'm gonna go rob some shit. So
Man from Beantown brought up what I was saying too, which I really hope they play on the Scorpion tease from Homecoming as well. That was cool. I love me some Matt Gargan. That'd be awesome to see him come up too.
Yeah, so it'd be interesting to see what happens. Spider-Man 3 is already inked for the time slot, and what we actually see in that. I would imagine probably by definitely San Diego Comic-Con next year. We'll get details on it. I don't expect much to leak out anything either through January, to be honest with you. Marvel is focused on the Black Widow release and everything. Normally when they've got a new movie coming out, they put all their focus in that one film to not detract from it, so they can put all their marketing push into the Black Widow, which is going to be interesting this year because Marvel only has 2 releases, and this will probably be the last time you'll see Marvel with only 2 releases forever, because they're planning 4 films a year. They got Fox trying to get Sony. So, I mean, things are always subject to change, but, they generally have an idea of what they want to do. They put out this roadmap and they're like, here's where they are. Don't worry about the details. Let's worry about the big picture things. This is where the parts are moving. And we've been right more often than we've been wrong.
No, they
but a lot of
definitely
times,
have a good plan.
People love to point out the times that I'm wrong more times than I am right, man. But hey,
but you know what? Zach, you admit it. You admit when you're wrong, though. That's the nice part.
Yeah. So
Hey, what's the second Marvel movie this year in 2020?
The Eternals.
The Eternals. That's right.
Yeah,
I remember.
So. Yeah, the Eternals. Right, they're filming right now, and then the 2021 is going to be the big year with Shang-Chi and all those other films that have been. Well, I would imagine Falcon Winter Soldier are going to be coming out.
That's the fall of 2020, I think. We start getting the Disney Plus stuff in like the fall.
Yeah. So what it looks like Marvel or Disney's doing is they're only going to have I think What If is going to come out first, right? Because they're filming Falcon Winter Soldier now. So I think what they're doing is they're just going to put one series out at a time instead of multiple, because I think that's ultimately Netflix's downfall is they'll have multiple things streaming at the same time. And sometimes you'll forget about the other one, right? It's like having multiple comic book YouTube live shows at the same time when there's only about 1,000 people in the community. So it's like space them out for more viewership. So I think I don't think we talked about it, but there's a lot of chatter on the interwebs about how Netflix is going to survive when Disney, because what's cool about Disney Plus, even though they don't have it yet, they have the graphic there saying, hey, it'll be available on this date. That basically means when it's going to be off of Netflix is when they're going to stream exclusively. So Captain Marvel was the first film that went strictly to Disney Plus and never hit any other platform.
I think Netflix will be good, man, because they still do so much original stuff. And keep in mind, Disney is just starting. We're all just hyped. We're just hyped on their vault right now.
What about HBO Max, though?
Same.
HBO Max has got a ton. We're talking all of Warner Brothers Studios films is going to be going streaming on there, so they better come with it with their original program because they're not going to have much a library. The Witcher better be freaking good, man. Because
I'll take old school, old school Warner Brothers stuff. Like, give me some old school Looney Tunes. Like, dude. Man.
What do they call the Animaniacs?
Well, that you got Animaniacs, you got Tiny Toons, but even just the old Looney Tunes, like the Bugs Bunny stuff, all that stuff.
Man. Now, I don't know if this would save. I don't know if this would save Netflix, but remember we talked about the Millerverse.
Oh yeah,
that's coming. Jupiter's Legacy is streaming right now, so there's going to be enough for everybody. I don't know how cable's going to make it.
Well, I'm already getting rid of my cable.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's it, boys and girls. Spider-Man 4, 5, and 6 going to be Peter Parker in college, culminating in the Sinister Six. And I talked about it a month ago and that was my pure speculation. I didn't say it was coming, but I thought Spider-Man 6 is like the perfect synergy for marketing. Spider-Man 6 with the Sinister Six. Imagine this. I'm just throwing up their logo at San Diego Comic-Con to announce it. Everybody would immediately know what they're talking about.
Just a 6. Yeah.
6. So
Spider-Man 6 in college.
Yeah. So we got a little something. So after Spider-Man 6, like 7, 8, 9, boom, job at the Daily Bugle. Right? I think there's a reason why they hired such a young-looking actor. He could play Peter Parker for the next 9 years. The dude doesn't age. Tom Holland, he can definitely grow into the role. Well, we're literally reading the comic where he gets a job as a photographer at the Daily Bugle, and he's got to deal with his boss, all crazy and stuff like that. But, we shall see.
If Vin Diesel can do 10 Fast and the Furious movies, Tom Holland can do 10 Spider-Man movies.
Right.
Good Lord.
Mark Hamill's the same thing. You can do 6 movies 30 years apart.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's true. He would have done more if he didn't get in that car accident when he did Corvette Summer.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why Return to Johnny has a scar on his face. And then after that, he couldn't get any roles because he no longer had the baby face. And very sad, actually. And if you ever seen Corvette Summer, it's a pretty crazy little movie, man. It's about his boy and his hopped up Corvette. Flash forward to Rogue One, and they have the Corvette thing. What's that thing called? The thing that rammed the other ship, it was called a Corvette something. Anyway, I just thought I'd pull those two together, which make no sense at all. We got 15 minutes left, boys and girls, and we are going to talk about the Collector series. There was some stuff we didn't get to talk about last time, and I think we still don't have enough time to talk about it. But specifically, when I post, if there's anything you guys want us to talk about for the Collector series, somebody asked about pressing before grading and the time sensitivity and sometimes the press. So basically, he's like, when should I press a comic and when should I submit it? And my answer to him was, you should only press your comics if you plan on getting them graded. If you're just going to press them and then put them back in your long box, don't do it. It's a waste of money. Because I have personal experience where I had a book that didn't have water damage, but it did have moisture. And when moisture gets in a comic book, it causes waves. You guys have seen those waves, right?
Right.
Well, pressing can remove those moisture waves. The issue is, and I found out the hard way because I forgot about it. I forgot to submit it. My waves came back after pressing. Luckily, this was like six years ago. I was going through Heroes Restoration, and he was kind enough to like, hey, send it back to me. I'll press it for you and submit it without any additional charge for pressing. So in those cases, yes, the waves will come back. But so many times I like to tell people, once it's encapsulated, it has that grade forever unless you crack it and do something with it. So if the waves come back, as long as it's still got the grade on it, go for it. And I'll ask Justin and Ryan, what do you guys think about pressing? Should you only press if you're going to submit to CGC, or do you press just for the hell of it?
I would never press for the hell of it. I would never press for the hell of it. I would only press if I'm going to send it to CGC. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, pressing would be either for personal collection or selling. I mean, those are the only two reasons why you would press a book. I mean, what's the point to press it just to put it in a long box?
No.
Yeah. Thank you, JLS Comics. A little bit late, but I just saw it. The Hammerhead Corvette. Remember in the Rogue One where they smashed into the Star Cruiser?
At the end of the movie, yes.
So if you want flat books and they're in your long box, just put the long box on its head.
Oh, that's how I used to do it in the 80s, man. So even before, when I was like in 5th grade, I had enough comics and I didn't have a short box. I didn't know where to buy them because I was getting my comics at 7-Eleven. And if you don't know, if you leave all your comics, like I didn't even have bags and boards. So I put, stack them up like this. And what happens is they just get this curvature because they're all by themselves. So I learned a way of putting every book in between, you know what I mean? Yeah. So it would flatten out. But back then, I was in 5th grade. What did I couldn't afford goddamn boards and bags. So what did I do? I put underneath a box or like a for you kids out there, there used to be these books called encyclopedias. Man. And you would look up information about stuff that basically had a manual way of using Google, by the way, and people would come by door to door and sell you these here books, and they were called Encyclopedia Britannicas. Goddamn, I just age myself. People are like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
And then
Wikipedia confused down here.
Yeah, so but the key was to distribute the weight evenly on top of the book. Like I still do that now. If I get something, I got that. Damn it, it got a little curving, and I'll just leave it underneath something for like a week or something. That's what short boxes.
I'll just put my short box like vertical. So all the books in the box press on each other.
Yeah. And I think we can answer one more question here. And I don't know if we'll have time to do it, but I think we talked about it last week about convention, how to navigate it. Man, I don't really want to get into this.
We should do this next year, right before con season.
Go right for the pops. That's
I got a good CGC question though. That kind of on this.
All right, go for it.
So if you crack a slab, let's say you get the notes and stuff. What are the good things? What are some gradable defects or some defects that you can press out? From
Spine roll
is
the biggest.
Yeah.
Non-color
breaking ticks.
Yes.
As long as the grader's note says color breaking is like the absolute.
If it color breaks, you're not going to get any kind of increase.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
But if it's non-color breaking or like you'll see bend or you'll see what was like not divots but little indentation. I don't know what not a crease, but like indentations or whatever. But those kind of things are the things you can press out.
How about stuff like watermarks, stuff like that?
That would require some sort of cleaning.
Okay.
Yeah. So cleaning is also like Rocket Comics offers, pressing and then $5 for cleaning. And typically I clean old books because a lot of times if the covers are white, you can get them off there. Even sometimes there's certain little dirty things. Like, remember, it's not considered restoration because you're not adding something to the book to make it better. You're actually removing imperfections from it. So like, sometimes they can smudge away some dirt on there, or there's much more complicated process
on a white book. I mean, you definitely want to clean a white book without a doubt. Well,
here's the key, man. Grab your book and hold it up to the sunlight or light, and then look at it, and you can kind of see what's the examples I showed last week on our live show with the Rocket Comic photos. I mean, those are like the best examples because good pressers know how to take pictures of before and after and you catch the reflection of the light of the imperfection. If you're really good at it, you can see it through a slab, and you can tell. That's why I posted that Marvel Premiere 15, the first appearance Iron Fist. It's the old CGC label 9.0, and I'm confident by 90% at least that book was probably not pressed, because there simply wasn't a lot of people pressing back then. Pressing became really prominent like 6-7 years ago, but books that were slabbed in like the old label, I would say 90% of them were not pressed, and that's why they go for a pretty penny. Normally the old labels, like what's even older, the red label. Have you guys seen those?
I have not seen a red label.
No, I've never seen a red label.
CGC red labels predate blue labels. Those are the original CGC slabs. The modern, I think, is a red label. Go on to YouTube or eBay and look for CGC red label. They're not. Don't get the CBCS ones. Those are verified signatures. But the OGGG, old CGC labels are red, and they're super rare, and they command a pretty penny. And I'm not talking about the weird 9.5 ones either. No, you'll see them. Go on to eBay and you'll see it, and you'll see a bunch of people bidding on it. Because people are like, I need to get that, because they think grading was different back then. They think they overgraded. They think there's a lot of defects in it. Just like the one I got, I was like, man, there's gonna be a lot of people bidding on this, because I picked a 9.0 old blue label because I figured, man, I got 0.2, 0.4, 0.6, 0.8. I could go 4 grades up, right? That leaves me some room to play with. So we shall see. Any other questions? Since we got 8 minutes.
I have a statement. Be wary of cracking books, because I had a horror story where I cracked a 9.6. DC Presents 26, first appearance of the new Teen Titans, to get it signed by Wolfman and Perez, and it came back yellow label 9.0.
Damn.
So be very careful.
Cracking your own labels, or
no? Just I sent it in to get pressed and cleaned, and it came back. It said that it had a rusty staple.
Yeah,
and I didn't catch it.
I'm probably the only one that I know has successfully lobbied CDC to change my grades. I pretty much made a big deal about it on YouTube, so I kind of forced them to, because I was fucking pissed off that my books came back a grade.
I remember
lower,
that. That was like 4 or 5 years ago, wasn't it?
It was like 4 years ago, and I made a YouTube video about it. And a guy from CGC actually private messaged me on Facebook, say, hey, send it in, we'll take care of this for you. I was like, really? I said, okay. I didn't believe it, and sure enough, they came back a better grade. The reason I remember this dude's name is he worked for CGC. He had 2 first names. It was like Brandon. It was weird. It was like he sent you, and you think, wait a second, is that your first name or is that your last name? So here's, and I'll make the story quick so we don't have enough time. I had 2 books that were slabbed already. I kept the labels, right? And I sent them in. And I remember CDC is the one that cracked them. So if you don't know this, at a CDC booth, if you have a slab book already, they will crack it for you if they are doing Claremont doing a private signing, because his table will get too busy. So they go, I said, I want to get these signed by Chris Claremont. And it was X-Men 100 and 101, I think, were the books. And sent them off, and they came back a whole grade lower. So I think they were like 9.0s. They both came back 8.0s. That's a huge like grade down. I had the old labels, and I showed it to him, and I was like, and what really kind of helped me was this was the time when CGC was getting a lot of flack, because remember there was the rumors of they contracted a bunch of new graders, and people were really upset. The CGC forums were blowing up. So I used that to my benefit. And I was like, hey, I understand you guys got some new graders in, and I just need, and you can get, if you don't agree with the grade, you can send your books back to CGC and have the head grader reevaluate them for the grade. Not many people know that. It doesn't always work out, but in my case, I got at least back to my original grade. The key was I kept the old labels. Not that would help out any, because who's saying somebody could just have a label from a totally different book, right? And it wouldn't make any sense. But those are some of the things just to show the comic book community is probably 2 degrees of separation from anybody. I made a video and I posted it on Facebook, and a CDC representative reached out to me on Facebook and asked me, say, hey, send it in, we'll take care of you. Because back then, I guess they were smaller, so they didn't want any bad publicity. But, even to this day, I mean, if you go reach out to Manny, Big E's, hell, they just had the CEO of CBCS on their show 2 days ago. Right. So I'm just saying that's why it's like 2 degrees of separation. You know somebody who knows somebody who knows somewhere else. Right. I don't even want to talk about my Anastasia Collectibles thing, because when that happened, everybody knew who I was and who I was talking about, and on all parties in between. It was kind of crazy how much that caused. And till about 2 years ago, people were still sending me messages saying, hey man, are you the guy that made the Anastasia's video? Hey, I just want to tell you a problem I had with them.
That was a big deal.
It took a year for them to get their books back from Anastasia's for a Stan Lee signing. So, obviously nobody deals at Anastasia's anymore because they don't have that Stan Lee hookup anymore. So there you go. But speaking of hookups, Ryan, what do we got going on for Black Friday?
Man, we got an auction, Lords of the Long Box auction. We haven't had one in a while. And I'll tell you what, it's going to be a good one. If you like Batman, don't miss it, because I'm going to be auctioning 10 cent, 12 cent, and 15 cent Batmans.
Wow.
Basically, Silver Age and borderline Silver Bronze Age.
And borderline Silver Bronze. And you're going to like where these prices start at. So don't miss it.
Free.
I'm telling you. Yeah, right.
Claim.
That's going to be I think it's annual now. We've done this for 2 years in a row.
We have.
This is our 3rd annual Black Friday sale. It's going to be Friday, November 29th, right at around... what time? 7 p.m., 6 p.m.?
It's going to be 9. I think we listed it for 9 p.m.
6 p.m. Pacific. Yep. So you eat turkey the day before, watch football. Yep. Friday night, go send the lady out to stand in line at Walmart, do all that crazy shit, come hang out with the Lords, and we're going to be banging out some shit. I know I got a bunch of stuff to sell.
I got a ton of stuff, and we will go until there's no more bids. At least I will.
I remember we went a good 3-4 hours last time. It was kind of crazy. Thunderhouse Design, just bidding via comment. I have a tendency to do it old school auction house style, where we don't put a timer. We get action until somebody stops and folds, and then I go going once, going twice, going to the side, twice, sold. And I'll do it to a beat too. No, I'm just kidding. I won't do it to a beat.
That's right. That's right, King.
That auction hip hop channel that got shut down. Dude, they were the dopest ever. They used to take like auctioneers and they would remix it with hip hop beats, and it was the best thing ever. YouTube shut their channel down, man. But yeah, shout out to King of the Golden State, JLS Comics, Sith Lordly for holding it down. So man. So Ryan's gotta get some Christmas money.
Yes, I do. I've been off work for way too long.
I've been accumulating, so I need to disseminate some of these things that I have. I just accumulate and accumulate. I have this thing where I don't want to get any more boxes than I have to, so I'll sell off, and then I'll just sell 10 books to get 1 key, and that's the way we rock it, boys and girls. So thank you guys for hanging out with us. Milton, Zach, the Manimal, that's where's my brand.
Just everyone have a safe, happy Thanksgiving, and thanks for sticking around.
You got anything you want to auction off? We could use somebody with some moderns.
Maybe, but I'm going to be out of town, so it's probably not going to work for me.
Yeah, fuck you then.
I know what I was thinking about it. I got some of these spec books I've been hoarding. I'd like to get rid of some of that stuff, but
there you go.
You got to be patient with those, man.
Yeah, I know.
When news drops. All right, Justin.
3 Men in the Basement live show this Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern. We're doing our 900 sub giveaway. We got some information about a new sponsor that's joining us, and we're going to try to watch Marvel Expanding the Universe on Disney Plus. So it's going to be a fun show, and as well as some comic.
We try to watch it. It's only like 10 minutes.
Well, we're going to talk about it. If you don't have Disney Plus, it's going to be a fun little watch. And
how are you guys going to do like a little?
It's the first thing I watch on Disney Plus, to be honest with you. So expanding the universe. It was
like fucking what do they call it? Like when the director talks over the video.
Commentary.
You're gonna do some commentary,
or Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Nice.
We're gonna do.
Well, as long as Justin does it, they'll be okay. If we do it with Otto, then there won't be any.
Well, that would be more fun, I think.
No,
Yeah.
I got it in check. Like I said, 3 Men in the Basement live. Go check out the other channel. Subscribe. We're doing the 900 giveaway, and we have amazing gifts for the 1,000 subscriber, which we will show off on Friday. So please check out that show on Friday.
Is this your 1,000 on Instagram or 1,000 on the?
No, that I did. I did my 1,000 followers over the weekend, but this is 1,000 subscribers for the 3 Men in the Basement. I will tell you that we have a Stan Lee, a J. Scott Campbell variant signed by J. Scott Campbell, Stan Lee, and Stan Lee's wife.
Oh.
As our second place. Yes. Right. And the first place is amazing. I'm not gonna tell you. We have it. And Otto will show off on Friday. I will say it is a CGC book. I'll give you a little hint. It's a CGC book. It's a 9.8 and it's signed by about 8 people.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's Amazing Fantasy 15.
Yeah.
Ryan, any last words besides?
No, it's just I'm happy to be back. I enjoyed it very much. I'm looking forward to the next one. And I'm really looking forward to that auction because you guys are going to love what we bring.
We will be back next Wednesday for our live show. And probably what we'll do on the live show next Wednesday, since it's the day before Thanksgiving, is we'll probably, if we don't have a ton of news, which is kind of slow this year, this time of year, we'll show you the books that we'll be auctioning off on Friday. How's that sound, guys?
That sounds like a great idea.
Yeah, this way you get
As a matter of fact, I think we should do that.
Yeah. Yeah, shout out to Alan Picknell, actually, who got that copy of Stained Glass Scarlet Spider, or Stained Glass Scarlet. Manimal was the one that hooked us up with that comic that we gave to Alan Picknell. He got it. He showed it off in the Lord's Spec page. If you're not, follow me on Lords of the Long Box on Facebook. If you want to follow a group that just talks about comic book spec, I talk more about just good old comic book news and stuff. But in the Lord Spec group, us and a bunch of other people, got 250 people in there. We just talk about comic book stuff, what to look out for on Wednesday, stuff like that. So it's like us hanging out in the comic shop on Wednesday, but we do it via Facebook. So we see you guys on Wednesday for sure, because if we got news, we'll talk about it. But if not, we're definitely going to show off the books that we'll be auctioning off on Friday. If any of the homies that I know well want to jump in on this auction, shout out at me at on Instagram, Facebook, or whatever. Like King of Golden State, I know has got a lot of books that sometimes he sells, because if it's just us three, it could probably get a little crazy. We're like at least 4 rounds, or 3 rounds. We'll see. Because if it's only 3 people, man, you're gonna be just like constantly doing stuff. So. Yes, King of the Golden State Warriors lost tonight by 48. They had more people injured than suited up for the damn game. And all the teams are just taking it to the Warriors now like, we don't care. Biddy be you. You went to the finals 5 times in a row. But anyway, we'll see you guys next Wednesday for the pre-auction show. Until next time, boys and girls. Oh, check out Big Easy. We done?
No, go ahead.
Okay. Check out my man Big Easy in about 15 minutes, and then check out the Comic Core, who's also live tonight as well. The great comic book content for you guys out there. Until next time, boys and girls, keep digging in them long boxes. Peace out.